What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know, I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Speaking of entertainment, today on the program, I have Sharon Marie White. Ooh, her bio says she grew up in the small town of Manitoba, Napinka, Manitoba, Canada, and now resides in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, west of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. That's just the beginning of her bio. She's been playing since 14 years old. Singer-songwriter. Can you dig it? I knew that you could. We're going to get to find out a little bit more about Sharon Marie White. So stick around. This week's shows, let's see, on Friday night, I'll be at my usual Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show. We got a little concert starring each and every one of you. All you got to do to be a star is sign up for karaoke. It's easy. They got a full bar. The kitchen's open. They got some good food in that kitchen, too. I encourage you. Have some food. Have some fun. And they got a pool tournament. They got 10 diamond-style pool tables. And they have a pool tournament on Friday night. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, I encourage you to check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Good times, good fun at the Rab. 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the a.m. is when the karaoke video dance party is. Come on out and play. And on Saturday, oh my goodness, I have an all-day family event. For not my family, it's a family down in Hot Springs. I'm so excited. This is the second year in a row that they've had me over to do their 4th of July event. So I'm stoked to be with them. Oh, so good. So good. But unless you're invited, you cannot come. I'm just excited that I get to be a part of the show. But man, my goodness, it's going long. This one's like an 8-hour show. I'm okay. Once we get the music and the karaoke going, I'll go for hours. My goodness, I'm thinking about a time that I did something for the Red Cross quite a few times even, and I remember those things were nearly 24 hours straight. I mean, I barely sat down. I mean, I was drinking coffee, and I stepped away for a second, but I left the music going. If I had to go use the potty, I would do that. But, man, I remember those were some long shows. My 20s were fun. They were fun. I was still made of rubber. And I still had Wolverine powers. I could do all night, all day, all night shows. Oh my goodness. All right. That's enough intro. I'm reminiscing about, just the craziest shows that I've done over the years. Maybe I'll talk about those sometime, but today is a day for Sharon Marie White out of Canada. Oh, I got her on Skype. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. Skyping Sharon Marie White now.
You know what he did? He just restarted it. But you're my witness. I did the same thing, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You're smarter than the machine.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I am jinxed with technology, Dan.
Well, you have an IT guy, and that's a good thing to have. He's the biggest part of your team. You have a teammate. Yes. Well, I know that in this thing we call show business, we can only go so far on our own, and then we have to have a team to help us out, help us get further into the stratosphere as we go. But Sharon Marie White, we're off to a great start. My goodness. Look, I don't know a lot about Calgary, Alberta. I don't know about a lot about Napinka, Manitoba. I'm sure it's all in Canada somewhere.
It is. And you should know Calgary. The Stampede's going to be here next week.
What's a Stampede?
The rodeo, the biggest show on earth.
Okay, I always thought that was Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, but I guess that's been disbanded. So why not have the Stampede take that over? Because there was I guess there was cruelty to animals that was involved in the Ringling Brothers. The Stampede, are they getting watched very closely by the PETA and the people? What do you think?
Yes, they are. I know, every once in a while, the chuck wagon races, a horse gets hurt or worse. So I'm not sure if they still do that or not, to be totally honest. And, when we lived in Manitoba, we flew here to go to the Stampede. We've now lived here for 20 years and haven't been once.
No, I get it. I lived in Miami, Florida, which is about 5 hours away from Disney World. We went to Disney World once, twice, 3 times a year. Every year since I can remember, since I was a little baby until I was a teenager and almost out of the house. Then I moved to Orlando, which is right next to Disney World. I went 0.0 times in the year that I was living there. So I understand, that you don't want to do the things in your own backyard. When you want to take an adventure, you want to go someplace else. But there is so much to see in your own backyard. If you were on the tourism board for Alberta, Calgary, what would be the things to do? You say the Stampede is coming, so that's once a year. But what else is there to do in Alberta, in Calgary?
Well, and at one time, it was kind of the oil and gas capital, which that's what my husband and I do. And we work actually in the next province over in Saskatchewan. You probably never heard of that province either.
I've heard of it. No, I've definitely heard. Yeah. I've heard of little towns in Canada, lots of towns in Canada. I've talked to many Canadians. I realize that you're in the mountain time zone because we were trying to set this up and figure out what time is where. If I'm in central, you're in mountain. So we know that we're an hour apart. So you also, go ahead. You also know my math really sucks. Well, I wasn't going to bring that up, but East Coast is 1 hour ahead and Mountain is 1 hour behind. So in my perspective, but for you, it's right on time. Whenever you get there is right on time. And I've told people that.
I apologize for the delay.
But, hey, talk about right on time. Let's talk about the shows. Let's talk about the time when a little Sharon Marie White, and maybe that wasn't your name back then, because we know that your IT guy is also your husband. Oh, I probably should have said spoiler before that, but I said it, and it's out there. But you have a husband that's a teammate that's helping you out, that you are helping as well. It's good to go through life as a team. But before that, when you were a wee little tiny Sharon Marie in, I guess, Manitoba, Napinka. Now there's a new one for me. I don't know Napinka at all. Tell me about Napinka. Is it population 500 or is it population 500,000?
No, it's more like 500. Yes.
Okay. Salute.
Yeah. And my mom and dad farmed, so I had 3 older sisters, like fairly older sisters, and my mom and dad loved country and Western music, so they had the old records with Patsy Cline and Loretta Lynn, all that stuff. And then I would go upstairs to when they were at school, my sisters, I'd go upstairs and play their records, which were the Beatles, the Stones. Do you remember these guys, the Herman's Hermits?
Herman's Hermits. No, I don't remember their hit. Right off.
But so I was always listening to music, and I would have to learn the lyrics to every song. Just from a little girl, I just loved to sing. And then, unfortunately, my father passed away when I was only 9, so we moved off the farm. And you have to understand that little town of Napinka is where a lot of my cousins live and still farm, because my dad came from a family of 11. And so lots of aunties and uncles, again, which, it's mostly just my cousins that are alive now. But so and then moved to a little bigger little town. And then at 14, I wanted to learn the guitar, and one of my teachers actually taught guitar, and that's kind of how this whole process evolved from just, learning to sing along with a record to actually playing the guitar and then singing with the guitar. And I remember there was about 3 of us in this little group of guitar students. And our teacher said, you know what? I think we should form a band, because you guys are like, we all took it very seriously, even at 14, 15 years old. And so we formed a little band. But I do remember, first singing along, learning to play the guitar. And my teacher said to my mom, your daughter can really sing. And she goes, well, but she loves to sing. So anyway, that's kind of how that whole thing started. But it was rock and roll back in the day.
Well, I mean, I do want to back up a little bit. First of all, I'm sorry that you lost your dad at such a young age, but you've also touched upon the plight of the farmer. The farmer,
yes.
The farmers of the world are the ones that are making the food. They're growing the food for the entire planet. And it's such a fragile ecosystem for the farm. If a farmer has sons and daughters, they are expected to take over. Become that farm as well, take over the family business. Now, a lot of times that doesn't happen, but it's so fragile.
Especially if you have 4 girls.
You're right. And I'm not saying that girls cannot work the farm, but they certainly can. Yes. I'm watching Yellowstone, great show. Love that show, and the yes. daughters seem to be the one that holds it all together in that fictionalized, but based on a true events. I think the writer grew up as a farmer, as a cattle rancher, and came up with that idea. But you growing up on the farm, but as soon as your father passed away, that's it. The farm is done. There was nobody. You had to move off the farm. And then where did you end up? Did mom end up having to get a job and start working? What kind of work did she do?
Yeah, so like I said, we moved to another little town 10 miles away, and she worked at a motel house cleaning because she didn't have a ton of education, but always provided and was very, very frugal, which I have inherited from her, although my husband may disagree. But and then of course my sisters were all older, and I remember one of my aunties saying, it was kind of nice that there's such an age span, because your sisters all are, left home. And then my dad had passed away, and at least my mom had me at home for till from 9 to 18. It's interesting how other people see things, right?
Well, I have that similar respect. My half brother and I are only 3.5 years apart, but then I have a stepsister that's about 20 years my junior. So I understand how she grew up in the house, even though she had 2 older brothers, she grew up as an only child. So you had the ability to go one-on-one with your mother, and your mother was able to put all of herself into you. The frugalness, I like it. It depends on how many packages show up on the door from their various courier services. Does that happen often? If it happens too often, maybe your frugalness needs to be checked a little bit. But but if you say you're frugal, I can only take you at your word, because I hardly know you. Yeah. But we're getting to know you, Sharon Marie White. But you grew up. When you were on the farm, and I guess until 9, were you doing any chores as a farm girl?
No, I was not really. I would just kind of, I just remember, well, here's a funny story, because my sister teases me about this, because, again, I love to sing. So I'd be outside.
You'd be outside?
Oh, we froze there. Okay. I'd be outside singing away, and then I'd walk over to the fence, and I'd stand on the fence, and the cows were there, of course, and I'd be singing to the cows. And she said, well, at least you had a captive audience.
Okay. All right. So, there's many different types of farms. When you say farm, it could be, fruits and vegetables, could be cattle, could be different kinds of animals. Tell me about what was on that farm.
Well, from what I remember, it was mostly cattle. I think earlier on they had pigs and stuff like that. But by the time I came along, I think it was mainly cattle, because my father had been kind of ill, right? So he didn't. But the big vegetable garden, I have fond memories of that. And I'm sure my mom has passed on too. But that you just realize how much hard work that was. I mean, the huge gardens they had, the canning and everything that they did. Oh, we did have chickens too. So I do remember that, because I would go out in the yard and the stupid roosters would circle me, and I'm yelling for mom. And, my older sister was like, well, just boot them out of the way, So I was a little timid.
Oh, some of those roosters have large talons, and they're very intimidating from time to time. I've had to deal with roosters in my life, and they can be ferocious. They can be fierce. And but there's a reason that you say they rule the roost, because they are they are there instinctually to protect the chickens. And here we are trying to get their eggs. And if they stop laying eggs, maybe we're there to get their meat, their protein. But how did that affect you? The way, did your older sisters, did they work the farm as well, or did they completely get out of the house and do other things?
I know a couple of my older sisters kind of helped, but there wasn't really, they did whatever they could, but they usually, when they graduated, they moved away from the farm and went on with, and I was just going to mention the idea for I don't know if you've listened to my song, Small Town Prayer.
Oh yeah.
This, what we're talking about, that's what, that's why I wrote that song as to remember my mom and dad, and just the feeling of growing up, not just on a farm, but near a small town where, everybody, you're related to most of them. And it just never leaves you. That's like, I always say, I'm just a small town girl, because it never leaves. And we live just outside of million, plus city.
Here's a little bit.
From a small town, no city lights for miles around, dirt roads, broken fences, the simple life.
I like that. And then you show the town of Napinka. Obviously, you made the video in your hometown. There's a barn there. I encourage people, my loyal listener, go and check out the YouTube, check out the Spotify for sure. I don't even know where artists are making money, but I'm going way ahead of myself. I'm still on little baby Sharon Marie, little tween Sharon Marie. Just getting out off the farm. I did want to. There was something I did want to know. Well, I'm sure it'll come back to me. But I got sidetracked, and I wanted to talk about your sisters and what they were doing. But then when you get to I guess you get to a different city. Was that when you got to Alberta, or when you got to Calgary, or did you go to a different city after oh my goodness, after Napinka?
Yeah, well, like I said, we just moved to the next little town over, and that's where I learned the guitar, and we formed a little band, and it was a rock band. And back then, it was the 80s. I'm going to date myself, but there wasn't a lot of female rock singers. I mean, we had Heart, but there was a few of them. So I sang a lot of guy songs. I sang Loverboy and Journey, but we got to be fairly successful, even though we were still in school. We played every weekend, and all summer long, that was my summer job. And, I didn't have to go find a summer job. That was our summer job. So you really got to learn the chops, and you got a little more confident and stuff like that. So we did that for a lot of years. And then when I graduated, went to university to take School of Music and met my husband. And as I say, my brains fell out of my head and
No, but you're starting to you're given the tent poles, the basics of the crossroads so far that you've given me is 9 years old. Life changed. When Dad passed, you gave up the farm. You went to a different city, even though it was another small town, I'm guessing. But this is where you started music. So that's that crossroad. These different points in your life that start to develop who you are right now. But at 14, you're playing in a cover band, and what kid wouldn't want to play in a cover band, and not just a cover band, but a working cover band? Somebody. I guess were you doing backyard parties or little restaurants, or what kind of gigs were you getting at that age?
Yeah, we did a lot of dances, festivals, which was really fun. Yeah, school dances, and then the province I mentioned, Saskatchewan, we used to be able to play in those bars and be underage because they would allow underage people to be at a restaurant, or a bar for a certain time. But yeah, I think they maybe bent the rules a little bit. But again, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, when you're that good. I have
fond memories.
Yeah, when you're that good, I suspect they're bending the rules, because it seems like even at that age, you were taking it seriously. How many people were in this band, and do you still keep track of them?
So there was 5 of us, including, and I said, I don't know if this would work today, but, our English teacher, and he's the guy that got us all together. But like I said, I don't know if that would work nowadays. But, of course, because a lot of us weren't even of driving age, guess who got to drive to all the gigs and book the gigs? I mean, looking back, I realized how much he did.
Your English teacher was Jack Black, right? School of Rock. Yes.
He was pretty cool, though, I have to tell you.
Yeah, I could see him, doing his English lessons. He's A, B, C, and really, you're just learning the chords on the guitar or chords on the piano or the keyboard or whatever.
Well, and you talked about Crossroads.
Please.
So he was a guitar player. We had a drummer, really amazing drummer, bass player, another amazing guitar player who he could play anything. He could play drums, piano, guitar. He could play lead. And when he started, when we really got going in the band, I think I was 15 or 16. He was 14 and amazing. So I'll tell you a story. So when I graduated and I went to a little bit bigger city, and he had moved out, funny enough, to Alberta.
Starting to come together. I get it.
So he had moved to Alberta, and I was still in Manitoba, and he had formed his own band. And so we did our band was called Legacy. And so we did a Legacy reunion concert back in Manitoba. And he says, Sharon, I got this band. I want you to come. I want you to be my singer. And I was really, really excited. But I had met my husband to be at the same time. So there's those crossroads you're talking about. And I, of course, I chose my husband. And then sadly, about a year or two later, he was the guitar player was killed in a car accident.
Whoa, tragedy.
I know. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and it's just, and I think about him so much, and I think what a waste, because he was, people say to me, oh, you're talented. I'm like, okay. But he was above and beyond. He could play any instrument. He could just, he was amazing. So you go through that anger and stuff. It's like, why him?
Well, I mean, the life of a rock star, you've heard the tragedies over and over and over. Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful corpse. But, it's sad, but true. The 27 Club is growing, it's a big club, that the rock stars that didn't make it past 27. But my goodness, that is a tragedy. That is something in your life. But for somebody like you, a creator, and the people that I've talked to on this podcast and even in real life too. No, but the tragedies, the life experiences often become fodder, become a muse for songwriting, for that kind of a thing. But when you were in the cover band, were you even thinking about writing your own songs?
Actually, no, not really. And that didn't come till now. If I fast forward to the 90s, my husband and I are married. We've got 3 little boys by this time. And the same guitar player that was in the rock band phones me up. Sharon, he says, this country music thing is really taking off. He says, would you want to start up a country band? And I said, sure. I said, I've always loved country music, right? So then we started in the band. It was so much fun because there were so many female singers, right? I mean, just Terry Clark and Patricia Conroy. That's some of the Canadians I'm mentioning, but
yes.
Reba McEntire. I mean, the list goes on and on. But so then we did that. And again, we were playing every weekend, plus, having 3 little kids, and Brad worked full time and I was working part time. And so kind of what happened, we were playing the dances, and then I got brave enough to start writing my own music, bringing it to the band practices and saying to the guys, okay, what do you think? And they'd put on their lead parts and their bass parts and harmonies. And eventually we just threw the songs into the set list.
Nice.
When we're playing a dance, and we wouldn't say anything. I never said, oh, this is a song I wrote or whatever. We'd just play it and people would get up and dance. And so that's when I twigged, like, wow, maybe these aren't bad songs. Like, people, they don't know I wrote them, and yet they're getting, whether it was a waltz or whether it was a 2-step or whatever. So that was kind of the very start of it.
Well, most of the time when I'm going to a show, on the off chance that I have a night off and I get to go and watch some live music, a lot of times it will be a cover band, and then they'll throw in, an original song. But a lot of times they will announce it. That was very sneaky, Sharon Marie White. Hey, I think that's the way to go. I think I'm gonna suggest that to people. Because you put that in there, and the people are still going, and that's got to make you feel good. This came from your head, your brainchild, and out to the world, and they're still digging it. That's beautiful. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of a confidence booster, right? For sure.
Well, what was the first one that you snuck in, and when was that? You said in the 90s you were in this band.
The 90s.
Now, what was the name of the band then? The first one was Legacy. What was the next one?
Guns and Horses. Can you tell I was not pleased with the name, but we voted and I lost.
Well, yippee-ki-yay, Guns and Horses. They're a staple in country music. You got to have one or the other, or maybe both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are there a lot of guns in Manitoba? What are the gun laws up there? Are they like us Americans, where we're cowboys and everybody's got a gun or two in their immediate vicinity, or is it are the gun laws a little stricter up there?
They're very strict, but supposedly we have more guns than a lot of countries. But most of it is used for hunting, right? For deer and elk and different things. So yeah, I don't know. Guy, because I remember when I started dating my husband, he'd go shoot gophers or, prairie chickens or whatever.
Okay. I mean, he might need a gun rack in his truck. That's possible. But okay, I'm just trying to get the feel of life with you and how you definitely have the country base, being from the farm, having the tragedy. Hey, face it, Daddy died. And that's terrible, but through that, that's the country, that's the blues, that is the basis for music is having tragedy, having life experience. And did you happen to turn that into a song? Did you happen to write a song for your pappy?
I actually just did a couple of years ago. It's called Stayed a While. Stayed a While.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can find that while you're chit-chatting, because I got Small Town Prayer that was in there. But I like your YouTube. It's grab a coffee, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I did find your Twitch. I added you on Twitch. I'm also on Twitch. I do a lot of of Fortnite gaming there, but when I'm not Fortnite gaming, I advertise for for the DJ stuff and the podcast and what have you. But what do you do when you're on Twitch, by the way? Just as
you know what, I signed up and I haven't done a darn thing yet. We've been so busy because our boys are like older, but they're like, Mom, you got to get on Twitch. You got to do this. You got to do that. But we get working and it's just so darn busy. And then when we do come home in the fall, we're recording music. We're recording the songs and trying to get them out. So you mentioned something about what is it like? It's like the word would be chaotic.
Okay. I mean, trying to raise a family and do the music that it calls you. You could give this music up and raise the family, but why is it that you press forward and you have to do the music? Is it a have to, or is it a want to, or is it a little bit of both? Tell me about why you do the music.
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, because I mean, it certainly wasn't an easy thing, because like I said. And then we also bought a flower shop, and my husband was working full time, 3 little boys, and still playing, on the weekends. Maybe not as much, but just the pure pleasure of it. And just prior to the pandemic, I really got serious about the songwriting. I got a co-writer on about 3 songs, and so. Again, it just kind of rejuvenated my passion. It's like, okay, you've got all these songs and partially finished, and let's be a little more serious about it, So yeah, it's a have to. I mean, I may take pauses, but now we're pretty much full on. Like, we got to do this when we can fit it in.
I know I'm going to bounce back and forth a little bit, but tell me about the 90s with Guns and Horses. What kind of gigs were you playing there? And, when you were doing your covers as opposed to your original songs, was it 80-20? Was it 50-50? Did it become 20-80? Or was it all original at some point? Tell me about the gigs, where you were playing, and what were the shows like?
Kind of the same thing, dances, weddings, festivals, and probably I had a few originals, and then the other guys were starting to bring in their originals, which was cool too. So, but probably 80-20, like 80 covered, 20 originals, that sort of thing.
How many people in the band, and what were the instrumentation for Guns and Horses?
So again, bass, 3 guitar players and a drummer, and one of the guitar players was a really good picker. Like, he did the picking style, which was a lot of fun. So yeah.
Did you count yourself? Did you count yourself as one of the guitar players?
What's that?
Did you count yourself as one of the guitar players?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Loved. I think I always wish I could have learned how to play lead, because I feel like I have the feel for it, but I don't know where to go on the fretboard. But I got pretty darn good as a rhythm player, I would have to say. I felt confident as a rhythm player.
Well, yeah, because I don't see a lot of singers that become the lead guitarist as well. It's hard enough to sing and play at the same time.
Good point.
But if you have the ability to at least accompany yourself, hey, that makes you so versatile. You can get hired out at a coffee shop at the drop of a hat. You can go out to the street and busk if the urge hits you. I just got to get outside and go play some songs. Put your hat or your guitar case in front of you. If somebody throws a buck in there, that's great. A few dollars. I don't know. Is it what's the money like? What is the denominations in Canada?
It's still not great. I suppose it's about the same as it. It was funny. I met a guy today that was at the house for doing something else with the house, and he is a musician, and he says, we talked about the money, and I said, well, what places can we play here? And he says, yeah, the money hasn't changed since the 70s.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the actual denominations in Canadian money. Is it dollar? Is it dollars? Is it pennies? Is it dimes? What's the?
Oh, it's dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dollars. But what is the change? What is the change called? The coins.
Oh, loonies and toonies.
Loonies and toonies. See?
That's what you were asking.
That's what I was getting at. See, the money is you're preaching to the choir, because recently it got put to my attention that DJs have been making the same money since the 80s. Okay, when I started back in '86. I was probably charging pretty much the same as I'm charging right now, I know. But as I get better and better, you can charge a little bit more. You can command a little bit, know your worth and add tax. I tell people this entertainment business, the money can be good, but the work is not steady. It's a constant hustle. But it sounds like you are a straight up hustler anyway. Besides being a homemaker, raising children, you have a flower shop, you have another part-time job that's keeping you, your husband working in the oil business. And it sounded before the podcast, he was on the phone making some kind of business moves, making those moves. He can't help you with this camera. He's making moves. But, it sounds like you have a good team, and a lot of people don't know. They think, musicians, you're making tons of money. Everything's fine, but you don't have insurance. You got to pay for your own insurance unless you get yourself a job that pays for the insurance. And hopefully one of those day jobs is helping you pay for your insurance, whether it be yours or your husband's or something. At least that is taken care of. But then again, in Canada, it's a whole nother system over there. People keep crossing the border to get their medicine and get their procedures done. I'm hearing good things about at least the medical is taken care of. How am I getting it right? Tell me about that.
Yeah. The only difference perhaps would be that sometimes for some procedures you do have 6 to 8 to 9 month wait. So that's the difference. So they are talking about maybe privatizing a few more things, and if you have the money to pay for something quicker, then you could do that. Because is that kind of how it is in the States?
Well, I think if you have the money, you can get it done pretty much lickety split right now. Do it. But those that don't have, they do wait. Right. If you have a broken arm, well, you better learn how to set it yourself. I think there's a YouTube video for that. If you don't have the money to get it fixed. But I'm probably being silly. There are a lot of private organizations that do have welfare and gives to the poor. And I tell people, and I do. I walk the walk and talk the talk. Once you take care of yourself, make concentric circles outside of yourself to try to take care of your community. That's what we're supposed to be doing in this crazy world of ours. Maybe,
yes,
I'm DJing and maybe I'll make a buck. I'm trying to help promote people using this podcast. Maybe I'll make $1. Maybe I won't. A lot of people say, here's your check. Enjoy it. And I'll say, 99% of this is going right back into the business because that equipment is not cheap. I'm guessing you got to buy new guitars, new strings, new cases, new microphones. It gets expensive to do what we do.
And actually, I'm in the studio right now, so we kind of revamped our studio and put up new baffling and got some new equipment. So it is very expensive, but I mean you can't. Pardon the pun, cry the blues either, because it's what we want to do, Now, when we retire, unless I can get, a few more gigs or work part-time, then, because I hire really good Nashville musicians, which is expensive, but I mean, I just love them. They do their magic, as I say, but, when we retire that, maybe, there won't be the funds for that, but I mean, there's amazing players around here. It's just we kind of stumbled upon these great guys in Nashville, and that's where we're using right now. But
musicians don't retire; they just fade away. It's absolutely true. Every time I try to get out of this DJ business, I think, well, am I getting too old for this? And then I'll go do a high school prom, and it went great. So I'm still in touch, and I'm sure when you're playing for the people, you're looking across the crowd, and seeing the demographic. Is it older? Is it younger? Is it, male? Is it female? And if the demographic is, they're all grooving. They're all having a good time, especially when you play those festivals. If you play at carnivals and fairs where people aren't necessarily coming for you only, they're coming for music in general. But if they're sitting in front of you and you got them entranced, that's got to make you feel good. That has to. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's, in fact, I was
I was saying to my husband the other night, we're watching the Eagles or something on YouTube and or something, and they talked about how, I thought it was them or another band, but how you go to a different place, even though you're concentrating on the chords, the words you're singing, and yet your mind is still going to this other place. I can't even describe it, but I've heard other people say that, there's nothing like it. Even though I'm very, I get so nervous. Like I can't eat before I play. I don't drink before I play. Because I want to take it seriously. But yeah, I wish my nerves went, but that's from not playing out a whole lot. So I'm going to try to book a few gigs in the winter, because for me, that's when I can book the gigs, is in the winter time, because we're busy in the summer.
Hey, Elvis got nervous before every show, except I think he chemically made himself unnervous. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the sign of a good musician, a good entertainer, is somebody who's going to be nervous, going to be worried that show isn't going to go good, because you want to give the people what they want. You give them their money's worth. They got up off the couch and they're in front of their big screen TV watching their Netflix, and they came out and watched the Sharon Marie White show. They got it. They came to the show, and you want to give them their money's worth. You want to give them a value. So I appreciate that. Be nervous. Do it. But But I'm listening to your music, and the first thing that came to me, was some of the musicians from the '90s, the ladies, the Shania Twain, oh my goodness. Of course, I'm thinking about all these people as I'm, Amy Grant and oh my, Toby Keith. Why? No, wait, is that? Oh,
yeah, Faith
Hill. I'm thinking about all these, and I'm likening them to your style, your singing. It's very, that's it. The nervousness. It comes, the ability to be able to play music and be someplace else comes with your experience. You could be playing a song, an original song that you played over and over and over again, but then you could be thinking about your grocery list and what am I going to eat after the show while you're playing and while you're singing. You could do that because it's become ingrained into your body. It's in your head, in your soul. You have all this music. It's already there. You've practiced so much, and you're still giving them 99.9% out there while you're thinking about, did I do the laundry? Did I, did I turn off the stove? I don't know. Yeah. That kind of thing. But, I appreciate that. I appreciate that you've worked at your craft. How often do you get to practice? Is there a practice place, or is that studio that you're actually in right now? Is that where all the fellas, all the band members come and play?
Well, no. See, I've got the guys in Nashville, and that's the beauty of technology. So I sit down, and my husband records me with my guitar, and we do a scratch vocal, and then I send it down to Nashville, and I said the guys do their magic, and they send the tracks back, and then I do the good vocals, do the harmonies, or hire somebody to do the harmonies. And then we send it away to be mixed and mastered. So there's this whole process. But I do have a writing room in the house, and we are in a motorhome in Saskatchewan. So my guitar, my trusty guitar, is called Pearl, after my grandma. I named my guitar because there's Pearl inlay, and I'm like, I'm going to call my guitar Pearl after my grandma. But so that comes with me everywhere, whether we're in a hotel room or we're in the RV park, and so I'm always practicing. I'm always writing. I have had a bad habit of, I have a little binder with all my chords and words, and I've been really, relying on them. And so I'm trying now to, especially for my own songs, to be able to remember. And you'd think you would just remember, but sometimes, because I haven't done it enough. Like if you're playing every weekend like I used to, yeah, I didn't have to. I could do 30, 40 songs in a night. I didn't need no papers to look at, but that could be an age thing too, although I hate to say that.
Well, I mean, I'll go back to the late, great Elvis. You know, my man, he forgot the words towards the end. You know, some of the videos out there, and those were the most memorable shows, the ones where you forget the words. I think I saw Greg Kinn down in Coconut Grove in Miami, and I know this is not his song. You know, Our Love's in Jeopardy, that's his song. But Greg Kinn was in Coconut Grove, so he sang, or he attempted to sing, Coconut Grove, another song by somebody else. He didn't know the words. He forgot the words, but it was so much fun. And I still remember it 30 years later. Love it. Yeah. It's a great, those little mistakes, those little mishaps. Hey, when you fall off the stage, please don't fall off the stage. No, but those are the videos that go viral. Those are the ones that people will remember. And, you know, hey, if it gives you a couple more dollars and gets you a few more listeners, hey, was it worth it? Was the juice worth the squeeze? I don't know. I fell off the stage. I hurt my little finger. I can't play guitar for the next couple of weeks. You know, but you know, was it worth it? I don't know. But I digress. You know, but tell me about. Have there been any mishaps in your shows? Have has the electricity ever gone out? Has the microphone ever gone dead? Has the speaker ever started popping and hissing, blown out? Tell me about
way back in the day. We were at a festival, and this is when we were in Guns and Horses band, and we're at this huge festival, of course, huge speakers, and all of a sudden we just heard this boom. We thought it was an airplane going over, but no, the speakers had blown. And so the guys, I'm not a real great just like play whatever, so the guys just kind of jammed together just to kind of keep the crowd calm and happy, and they were just jamming, and it worked, you know.
Well, if the speakers are blown, how is that music getting out to the world, or is this all acoustic?
It was just acoustic, yeah, just to do, instead of looking at each other and wondering what we're supposed to be doing. So it was, yeah.
So you tell that group to come a little closer. We got no PA system. Come a little closer. Yeah. It makes it more intimate. It's nice.
Yeah, and when you were talking about the 90s country, I think, well, in fact, I'll tell you, the song I wrote with co-writer Dan Washburn, who is from Ontario, it's called I'll Bring the Wine, and him and I are up for Best Traditional Country Song of the Year for the Josie Music Awards, which are held down in Nashville. And so we'll know in October if we won or not, but I have so many people, you know, say to me, "Oh, you're bringing traditional country back," and so that makes me feel really good, because I love that. I mean, I love all music. I write blues, I've written folk, so I like it all. But there's still something about that traditional, like some of the newer country. I don't know. I don't know if I am a huge fan. I don't know.
You know, there's formulas. Okay, if you hear about trucks and beer and women and it's just, it's the same 4 or 5 items that you're going to hear all the time. And funny enough, what was it? David Allan Coe made fun of it. I was drunk the day my mom got out of prison, and she went to pick her up in the rain. And she got hit by a train. But it making fun of those little items, those little elements that record producers, record companies will say, you know what? That song had all these elements. Why don't you write a song with all those elements? And we'll see if we can make lightning strike twice in the same spot. But no, I listened to that song, and I have it right here. Beautiful song.
I know we're on and off again, but you crossed the line with me.
Oh, gorgeous song, gorgeous video. I'm a child of the 80s myself. I know we're about the same age. I remember when video killed the radio star in 1981 on a little thing called MTV. When MTV used to play music videos, I appreciate the videos. I appreciate that video. Well, did it kill the radio star, or did it enhance the radio star? I like music videos. I like the fact that you take the time to make a music video. And these videos are going to be played this weekend at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. because my job as a club DJ is to play stuff, and
Awesome.
play stuff that people haven't heard. You say that you slip in a couple of original songs in your cover shows. Well, I'm going to slip in a couple of Sharon Marie White songs in my club show, and people are going to go, "Who is that?" Oh, that's Sharon Marie White.
That.
That's my job since 1986. Back in the 1900s, kids. When I started on radio, when I started on DJing for clubs and weddings and parties and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't play an instrument. I had guitars. I have a full keyboard, piano out there. I mean, just professional. Don't know how to play any of it. Don't know how to play it. I leave that to you. My job is to help to promote you, is to help to get the word out about you. Yes, you've gone this far. You need a team to help you get further. You said you have a team in Nashville that's helping you get further. Tell me about the studio that has its wonderful musicians. What is that studio? Give shout outs to people that have helped you out along the way. It's good to give credit where credit is due.
Oh, absolutely. So the main guys are Jim Riley, who is he used to be the drummer for Rascal Flatts.
Nice. Steve
King, who was the piano player for Rascal Flatts, and I can't remember the guitar player's name. But yeah, these guys, and it was we found them during the pandemic, and of course they couldn't go out and play. And so, Jim said, we really appreciate the business, and so we kind of formed this relationship, and I can get him on Zoom and talk to him about the song and say, I got this kind of idea. And I did a folk song called Don't Wish Away the Days, which was totally different than the other songs I'd sent him. I think it was Small Town Prayer, and then I sent him Don't Wish Away the Days. And I said, do you know, I can hear fiddle in that. Do you know of a fiddle player? And he said, I think I just might. Well, and it's the same fiddle player for I'll Bring the Wine. Have you heard of Janae Fleener?
No, I haven't. Tell me about it.
You got to look her up. She's played with Blake Shelton. She's playing with Keith Urban right now. I mean, she's just amazing. And again, she has her own studio. So you send her the files and she does her magic. And I am just blown away that I get to work with these people. I am just like, I can't believe this is happening. And then the other song I sent down to another group, Chris Autry. He has played with, I'm going to remember, Josh Turner, Jody Messina. But, they just want to play. Like you said, musicians just want to play and do their thing. And yeah, they want to make some money, and I'm happy to give them some money because I'm just like, wow, I get to play with these people. This is so cool.
You're so funny. You were talking to a musician in Nashville, and you asked if he knew a fiddle player. I'm sure he threw a small pebble like in any direction and just hit one. Oh, there's one right there. But that's funny. Exactly. Well, what's the name of the studio that you're working with?
I can't remember the brand new one I'm working with. I can't remember what it's called. And then Jim's is it's just through kind of a company kind of thing. But
I like that.
We just, like I said, Brad kind of scouted these guys out, and it's just been, we kind of form a relationship. And for me, it's just like a feather in my cap because, and I mean, I know they'll work with anybody, but it just still makes you feel kind of special.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, we're talking about teams, and you've actually built yourself a team. You found a husband, and then you had yourself some more teammates. You have children. I mean, one of the things that we have to do in this business, be it on my side with the DJ thing or your side with the playing music, with the live music aspect of it, we have to brand ourselves, and we have to put ourselves out on social media and navigating that. Has it been easy for you? I mean, we grew up at a time when computers were starting to come in. I remember in school playing on an Apple Lisa, and learning Pascal and Apple Basic, and learning how to program, learning to code, back in the early days of computing. So we grew up without computers, and then we grew up into the computer age. So we're not doing too bad, I think. But about the social media, yeah, I mean, you have a Facebook. You have a great website, first of all, at SharonMarieWhite.com. Beautiful. Got great pictures of you. Got your bio. Got a place to buy the music. That is ultimate. You know, rather than going through Apple. I'm sorry, Apple, my AI overlord. You know, but going through Apple and Spotify, you have the ability to sell your own music on your website and possibly get most, if not all, of the proceeds of said music. Is that right?
It is, but I mean, I think I've had over 5,000 people visit the site, but to be totally honest, not many people are buying. So I don't know. But I don't get, hung up on that either. And it's hard. It's very hard in Canada to get Canadian airplay, radio airplay. I mean, I get played all over the world, on podcasts like yours or internet radio stations.
Yeah.
But it's pretty tough to get, and I don't know if I should say that, but it's for me, it's the truth. And I don't know if it's my style of music, if it's the age, or I don't know what it is, but I went through a time like I released Pour Me Again and I paid the promoters and I did all this and did all that and had high hopes, and people loved the song. Don't get me wrong, but mainstream Canadian radio wasn't interested. So it's like, okay, but you're not going to stop me anyway.
No, I mean, let me tell you on my side of the turntables and the microphone. When I've worked for mom and pop stations where it's like only one or maybe two stations owned by one or two people, just like a very small station, but still in a big market, down in Miami. Those I had the most leeway with. When I was working for big corporate radio, those playlists were centralized. And I don't know how I wasn't able to control the music, even though I was the live DJ. I was giving the weather. I was giving the news. I was giving, little tidbits about of information about the songs that were being played. But I wasn't able to choose the playlist. But when I was on the mom and pop station, I was the promoter. I was the web designer. I was the music director. I was the janitor. Okay. I did many jobs in that one little station, and I was able to find a Sharon Marie White song and listen to it. Oh, that's got a good tune to it. Let me put that on the turntable. Of course, there's no turntables anymore. It's all computerized. It's all digital. I mean, the transition from records, which I loved, getting a nice 12-inch with the liner notes, little history of where Sharon Marie White was at this time when she wrote that song, and then CDs. Okay, you better get your glasses out because the liner notes are a little smaller. But are there even records anymore? I'm thinking about when I was, playing music and I was working at the smaller stations, I had more ability to pick up a Sharon Marie White song and listen to it and go, yeah, I want to play that, and put it on the turntable and put it right out to the air. And, maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of people are listening to your song. Yeah. But a lot of times when you're in big corporate radio, you don't have that leeway. I hear a lot of local artists just like you that will say, hey, I went to the local radio station and they didn't show me any love. They showed me no love. They didn't play my song.
I do have to say that, because that's how this whole thing kind of restarted. There's a new country station here in our hometown here. And so I guess it was, just before the pandemic, and they were starting out, and I had this little song that we had made in our studio, and my son played the drums, my niece played piano. It's called Shine. And I thought, that's one thing about getting older. It's like, what have I got to lose? I emailed the radio station and said, I'm a local gal. I have a song. Would you play it? Thinking I'll never hear back. And lo and behold, they emailed me back and said, sure, we'll play it and come on in for an interview. So that's how the whole thing started. So every time I have a new song, at least they'll get me in for an interview and stuff like that now. And they put me on like our radio local favorites or whatever. But it's not a lot of airplay. But again, I appreciate whatever they can do, because I know they only have so much control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So you have to understand that, just exactly what you're saying. They don't have the control anymore. It's so corporate now.
Yeah, it was fun when I was the music director, when I was able to play make the playlist for this station in Miami that I was working for. It was a one-person station. They had one station in South Florida and then another station in Key West, about 100 miles away. And sometimes we would simulcast it. And, it was really fun working at that station. I didn't make a lot of money, but it was a lot of fun. A
lot of fun.
But with the corporate radio, when you have somebody that owns maybe 200 or 400 stations,
yes,
that's where you don't have a lot of leeway as the solo DJ. But hopefully that country station in your town, it does have. It looks like it has the ability to set their own playlist, and I like that. Even in this on-demand world that we're living in, where you can get your song at any time, watch your movie at any time, consume at your own pace, at your own leisure. Terrestrial radio still does have a place. People in their cars, if they're not listening to a podcast, which I do from time to time, I will flip it over to the radio station and take a listen. Just to keep up with the new music. Flip it to the country station. Oh, that's pretty good. Flip it over to the pop station. Okay, I got to get that song. The kids might want to hear that one at the next Sweet 16. But you got to keep up. But in the car, listening to terrestrial radio still has a place. I do miss working on terrestrial radio from time to time, but I'm glad that you're getting some love from your local station, because that's important.
Yes, I appreciate it.
That's going to keep you home. And maybe, a restaurant owner or somebody local at a local bar or club is going to hear your name and they'll go, I do want to have some entertainment this weekend. Why not make it Sharon Marie White? Are you playing any gigs in town? Is anything coming up in the next little bit?
Well, next week, next month, I was asked to come play at it's kind of like an archery veterans benefit thing. So, and it's a non-paying gig, but hey, my dad was a veteran. He was in World War II. So I thought this would be awesome to help support the guys and also and women, and just to go out and play for people that probably maybe never heard of me. And then I'm like, you talk about hustle, I'm trying to find gigs for the winter months, because that's when I will be here in our town. So, and I played at the senior center. I shouldn't call it what I was going to call it, the old folks home, but the senior center, and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun, because they're really appreciative, and it's so cool. They get entertainment for these folks once a week.
Yeah, one of my favorite karaoke shows. One of my favorite karaoke shows that I did was at the ALS. I think that's what you call it now, or ALF, the Assisted Living Facility, I think is the new term. But I still called it Old Folks Home, and I think they were okay with that. And Senior Center, I think, was just like a touch above that. But assisted living. Hey, I'm ready to move into assisted living. They got shuffleboard, and they got karaoke, and they got live music, and they got Sharon Marie White coming once a week or once every couple of weeks. That sounds great. When do I sign? Where do I sign up? When can I move in? No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. And they have a bar. I walked in, and it was like the length of the bar. And I said to my husband, I think we want to be here, not right away, but.
Yeah, they get wine boxes with their dinner. Whenever I was doing the karaoke show, there was like box wine that was going table to table. And I'm going, look at that. All right. Once you make it to a certain age, my goodness, all bets are off. Anything goes. You can do what you want. That's great. I've lived my life. I've raised my children. Anything goes now. Once your kids are out of the house, what are you going to do? Live. Just live. Have a good time. Yeah. But hey, exactly. I'm glad that you're doing it. You're doing what you want to do. You're putting the music out to the people. You got people helping you out. Who's helping you navigate the social media, or are you doing it all yourself?
I'm doing most of it myself, just because Brad is so darn busy working. He doesn't have a whole lot of time other than to fix the computer screen.
Thank you.
But I do all the Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter. I belong to, I network a lot with Spotify groups and playlists and stuff like that. It's just kind of a thing we do, but it's really cool how many people I've met. I may never meet them in real life, but like you and me right now, I've been Ireland and Scotland and the UK, and we're all just trying to do the same thing, work together and support each other. In the beginning, I was a little like, oh, they're getting ahead, blah, blah, blah. And then now I'm like, no, we have to work together. We have to help each other.
Yes, we do.
So important.
Well, speaking of helping you, I just snuck over to Brad's Facebook page, and my goodness, he is sharing your stuff. He's your biggest cheerleader. He's your biggest promoter. Fantastic. Way to go, Brad. Way to go, Brad. No, that's good. It's good to have somebody like that in your life, somebody that's pushing you along. If you want to do this, I think I talked to Rick Stone. He's a singer-songwriter, and I mean, he's so prolific, but clap for people. Clap for people. Get them out there. It takes nothing to share one of your posts on my site. Share. I'll bring the wine music video. Share it right now on your own page and take a listen. My goodness, I hope that we were talking about how do we make a living doing this as an independent artist. It's really tough. But is there merchandise? Yeah, I heard even buying a T-shirt is better than streaming a song on Spotify. Do you have any merchandise? Are you working on that?
I don't at this point, and I don't know. I think it's just kind of a shy thing. It's like I don't know if I should, or it's like
put your face on a T-shirt. Put your face on a T-shirt, a button, a hat, a bumper sticker. Sharon Marie White has to be on my bumper. It's merchandising where the real money's made. I know I was quoting Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, but I guess I'm dating myself. Merchandising. But, hey. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have thought about it, but, I always think, oh, well, that's more for people that play out a lot or tour a lot. But you're right. And I mean, heavens, the other thing about this whole adventure is not just my family and extended family, but just, fans you make along the way. It's really rewarding. And it's just, I meet a lot of people at the RV park, and I'll give them my card. I do have a business card, so at least they can go find me to play my music. And, they'll say, why don't we hear you on the radio? Why?
You wonder about that. Cause I tell my loyal listener, I'm talking to you again, my loyal listener, go and see a local live artist. You're going to find that they've been working on their craft just as much as those that are in the top 100 on Billboard. And they're going to sound just as good jamming live for the most part. You're going to go, why aren't they on the radio? Well, they haven't taken that leap. It's a little luck. It's a little blood, a little sweat, little tears, especially if you have a family. Being on the road, it takes a toll on a family. I'm sure Brad doesn't want to have you going off to Europe and playing your songs and going off to South America, to Argentina with 100,000 fans in front of you. And Brad's home crying. Yeah, exactly. Where's my Sharon Marie? I miss that lady. I could see that.
Exactly.
But keep it local. If there's a possibility that you can make a living or make some kind of extra cheese, keep it local. I do. Yeah. I don't play any more than a few hours away when I'm doing my parties and my weddings and stuff like that. For the most part, it's driving distance. I can drive there, do the show, drive back. That's ultimate.
Yeah, because if it becomes work and too much, then you're not having fun again. It comes back to the, and going back to the, we talked about being famous in the 27 group. And when I was in the rock band and I was young, that's all I wanted. I thought I wanted to be famous, right? And then I was like, it didn't happen at 30, it didn't happen at 40, it still hasn't happened. But you know what? There's so many people down that aren't happy that are famous. Or look at Taylor Swift. She can't just go to the grocery store. It changes your whole entire life. So, there's the downside, right?
The trappings of fame. Yes. The Biebs grew up on a camera. Justin Bieber was, grew up from 16 to whatever age he is now with a camera flashing in his face. Of course, somebody is going to catch him doing something stupid or cause him to do something stupid. If you have a camera flashing in your face all the time,
I can't imagine.
Hey, but if you got the millions that go along with it, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yes, exactly.
Is it worth it? But you have to determine that. And it sounds like you're in a spot, in a space where it's comfortable for your family, for your psyche, for your mental health. You're able to play out at a local club, grab your guitar, go busk a little bit. A player's got to play. And, you're going to do this thing for this benefit. Not only you're going to get some exposure. Yes. Okay. And a player's got to play. Yes. Okay. But you're also giving back to the community. You're giving them something. You're giving back to the veterans that have helped us out, in so many ways. I wish we didn't have to have wars. No wars. Okay. And,
I know.
If we could use our armed services to go, build for the less fortunate, please.
Yeah.
Quit fighting. Yeah. Stop fighting. All right.
I know.
Let me get off my soapbox.
It is. It's kind of a crazy world, that's for sure. But we're just really enjoying it, and it's keeps us busy, and then we can balance the fun with the work, and so I'm really enjoying the journey, and I found that it's amazing the people that want to see you succeed. Right? It's
absolutely
cheering you on, as you said.
Well, you got a fan on this side right here in Conway, Arkansas. Yay! This kid from South Florida now in Arkansas. I don't know if you know the difference. I just probably as much as I know the difference between Napinka and Calgary. It's just geography. Wherever the dirt under your feet is. But, I've taken some of your time. We've barely scratched the surface of Sharon Marie White. I want you, you've given some shout outs already. Give some more shout outs as we wind this thing down of people that have helped you along the way. If you want to talk about you talk about your kids. What are they doing? What are they getting into? Or, whatever you want to wind down with.
Well, all our kids, our three boys, are very musical, but it's not a passion for them. It's, but they can always, the beauty about music is you can come back to it at any time of your life. It's not like being a hockey player or sports. I used to play sports, so I'm not knocking sports. I love sports, but you're not going to go lace up your skates at 85, but you can maybe grab your guitar or your banjo or your mandolin or even drums, and you can continue. So, that's totally up to them. But, the boys and their wives or significant others are always, I put out polls to vote for me, and they're always voting and cheering me on. So that is pretty special, right? And like I said, extended family and my sisters and my cousins on both sides. That was one thing too, that it was funny when Brad and I first began dating. I said, well, my dad comes from a family of 11. And he goes, well, my mom comes from a family of 11. Like, it was just, it was kind of neat that way. But it's, and it's nice once you do get kind of noticed a little bit, it really forges you on. Like, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to try to get better at it. For me, the ideal thing, it's not getting famous, but if somebody would ever record one of my songs that maybe was a little famous, that would be a dream come true. I have to admit.
Oh, you've already said you're open to collaboration, so I'm guessing you're open to more collaboration. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, let's wind this thing down. As I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. I don't want this to be the last time that we talk. As things progress, as time happens, if you have shows that you want to promote, you come on back. We don't have to talk for the whole hour. If you want to just chit chat for a little bit, maybe 20, 30 minutes and tell people about upcoming events and upcoming songs, you're invited back to the What Makes You Famous podcast for sure. But like I said, we do the last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Sharon Marie White, give the last words for the people.
Do what you love. Don't worry about the naysayers. Just keep forging ahead and be happy in what you do. And don't let negativity get in there. Be positive. My glass is always half full. I said it's usually of wine, but it's always half full.
Well, there you have it, party people. Sharon Marie White. What a nice lady. She's been doing it a long, long time, since she was 14. I mean, and she led on. She there back in my 20s, my 30s, my 40s. She's been doing it a long, long time. And you could tell. I mean, when you look at her videos, when you listen to her music, it's seasoned. She's been doing it a long time. That voice has been trained to play that music, to sing that music. You don't get that from these young whippersnappers. It's very rare that you get a child prodigy that can come right out of the gate doing it right. But Sharon, she's going to give you the show. She's nervous before every show, which means she cares. She's going to give you the good show. So hire Sharon Marie White out in Calgary, in the Alberta area. Keep it close to home. She's got a family that cares about her, that loves her. She's a good lady. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that. You got love, you got the kids, you got the music. And you got the flower shop. We didn't even talk about the flower shop. Should have said the name of the flower shop. Look her up on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And just, find the SharonMarieWhite.com there. And buy some of that music. It's only $1.99 Canadian. Yeah. Get some songs. Keep that lady going. I mean, just the one song will keep her going for quite some time. 2 songs. The appreciation, the love, the add more friends just keeps you going. When you do a good show, just makes you want to do another one. Get that dopamine rush. I love it. Life of an entertainer. Beautiful. It's beautiful. I know. Thank you so much, Sharon Marie White, for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast and letting me ramble and pick your brain about things. And I know we went back and forth and kind of, I was kind of wishy-washy, but I'm happy that I got a chance to chit-chat with you. And I look forward to the next time. And I'll be following you around in your social media. That's right. And if you're wanting to collaborate, slide into her DMs. Business only. Business only. And, maybe you could sing a song or sing one of her songs. How about that, my loyal listener? You got the ability, that you have a good singing voice. See if she'll license one of her songs out to you. How about that? That'd be cool. Yeah. And you could sing a Sharon Marie White song. And you'll be cool. You'll be that much cooler. How about that? That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. All right. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email KeysDAN@AOL.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.